Hello, I am back in the forest. And today is a little windier, so hopefully that means the midgies and the bugs will kind of leave me alone. And I found this amazing tree yesterday. I walked past it right as the sun hit it, and it was just so beautiful. I'm carrying my palette because I had to clean it yesterday and it's still a little wet, and the colors keep running together. And I was just thinking about how it's the end of pleinairpril, but that doesn't mean I'm done painting outside. I paint outside constantly in the summer, and because it was such a rough winter, I am so looking forward to being outside, hopefully every day. After this painting, we'll have a little chat back in the studio, and yeah, I'll let you know kind of what's coming up. I think because it's the last day and I'm in such a good mood, I'm going to be very expressive with my marks. I just want to go into it with like a totally fresh, fun mindset and just sweep the color across the page and see what happens. And because it's really beautiful light today, I think that's going to be my focus, is like shadow and highlights, not necessarily like super detailed form or anything. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Let's go find this tree and see what happens. Oh, that was such an amazing session. I feel so revived by the forest. And now I am going to head home and start compiling all of the questions and comments that I got over the month here on YouTube and over on Instagram, and probably do a little Q&A, and also let's do a little tour of all of the paintings from this month. I think that will be fun. I am sure that I will be back here many times this summer, and I will take you along on the journey and share videos throughout the summer. Who came to visit? He's running around like a little rascal. Hello everyone, and welcome to my little courtyard. Everything is in full bloom around me. It's wonderful. It's been a couple days since pleinairpril, so I'm kind of still processing everything that happened. But I did want to have a little recap chat. I collected some questions and comments over on Instagram and here in the comments on the pleinairpril videos, so I picked out some good ones for us to chat about. I had quite a few people mentioning how spring green is one of the most challenging greens, which I completely agree. It is basically like highlighter neon green, especially in bright sun. One thing that I think about when I'm painting with that color, or if I want to include it at all, is I need to balance it out with a lot of muted tones so that it actually kind of becomes the highlight of the painting, and expresses that intense spring color, that feeling. So if you use a lot of muted greens around it, add white, add brown, add different complementary colors together to get those muted tones. Because if you use really saturated colors and that intense neon color, the whole painting is just going to be screaming. Well, maybe that's the point. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that's just something to think about. Someone asked which location inspired me the most. That's really difficult, because I went to some beautiful places this month. I really enjoyed the coast, especially on days when it was not super windy. There were a few days of just perfect temperatures and low wind, which made it much more pleasant. I think the Port Soy crashing waves was absolutely epic, and it's still kind of haunting me in a good way. And I want to go back at high tide and paint it more. So it's a bit further away, but definitely worth it on a nice day. Brenda asked, how do you balance your sketches between being detailed and being loose? I guess it depends on the goal of the session. So sometimes I set out to paint something in order to learn form or get better at rendering form. Sometimes it's about color mixing. Sometimes it's about light. Well, kind of always about all of those things, but I usually focus on one more than the other. And sometimes I only have 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, and that really dictates how detailed I go. So if I know I have an hour, I will put a little more effort into being a little more detailed. If I have 20 minutes, I'm going fast and loose and expressive and just getting into that kind of playful mindset. I say this a lot, but plein air for me is more like fact-finding missions. Every time I go out, I'm looking for clues about light and color and just trying to really instill those lessons into my mind so I can use them again in the future and just keep getting better and better and better. Someone asked, what would your plein air painting subjects be if your environment was not full of beautiful nature? I know I'm spoiled here, but I think I would focus a lot on architecture because I've always loved drawing architecture, and I really like playing with loose expressive lines and splashy color when I do architecture. And I also light on man-made objects can be really interesting, and I love using big, flat, chunky brush strokes, so it kind of would work with that. Or who knows, maybe I would fall in love with painting people or animals. But I already know I love urban sketching, so I think that's kind of what I would lean on. Do you share similar tutorials on your Patreon as the ones you show on Instagram? I don't really show tutorials on Instagram, but yes, I have a ton of tutorials on Patreon. I have watercolor, gouache, everything in between, ink. I have a lot of variety over there, and I just continue to upload new ones every month. By the way, I need to give a huge shout out to my patrons for their amazing support this month, and a lot of them were also doing Plein Airpril with me, and we were sharing it in the Patreon chat, and there were some really incredible paintings and sketches in there. It was just so fun to encourage each other in that way. Someone asked, would you ever consider doing your own paint along, something like Plein Airpril? I'm assuming they mean doing my own like painting challenge, and yeah, I've thought about it. Stay tuned. A lot of people were not necessarily asking questions, but just saying they appreciated the daily posts, and I know that's a big part of it. I usually don't post daily, and I especially don't post 2 videos a week on YouTube, so it was a lot of work this month, in addition to my normal routine. So I'm glad that it was appreciated, but I'm just really, I love being part of the energy of Plein Airpril and seeing everyone else get excited about it. So that really helps fuel me when I'm feeling a bit busy. How do you stay energized when painting? Do you bring food on your trips? Yeah, I am a snack girl. I have snacks in every bag, every jacket pocket, everywhere I can hide it. And usually I love plantain chips, which I get at the Asian market, and mochi. And there's, I have a lot of snacks. I usually will also stop somewhere for coffee, drink too much coffee, but Yeah, I just enjoy, I have snacks. I take moments to relax when I'm out there painting and just kind of try to keep the energy up, you know? How many times did you have to refill your paint pans? I think I refilled them twice, maybe 3 times. No, it was twice. And I cleaned it once or twice as well because it gets really, really messy. Because I'm using a dried gouache palette and I kind of use it in a way that's somewhere in between watercolor and gouache, I find that I don't go through it as fast as I would with like liquid gouache. What is different about the challenge this year compared to previous years? Nothing. Um, yeah. I mean, I guess my approach was a little bit more structured this year. No, actually, I don't know. I just went into it with a really excited mindset. Oh, here's what was different. The weather. We had gorgeous weather this year. Last year was horrific. So that was an amazing difference. What is my biggest lesson learned and biggest regret? Ooh, regret. I usually don't have regrets when it comes to art. Maybe that I didn't go a little bit further afield to see something brand new. I went to a couple spots that were kind of new, but yeah, like maybe I could have made a big special trip one of the days. I didn't feel the need to. A few times I picked names of places out of my hat just to keep it interesting, but yeah, I had a lot of. I felt like everywhere I went inspired me so much. What color is the least used on your dried gouache palette and why? Which one didn't I refill? I think quinacridone magenta is my least used color, like the pink, the intense pink, which is also my only red, technically. There's definitely uses for it, especially when I'm making purple or need like pops of color here and there. But I definitely mix more with my earthy tones and blues and greens. I don't even actually have, I have one pre-mixed green and the perylene green, which is more like a blackish green, which I actually really love. That was one of the new colors I added to the palette this time, and I'm definitely keeping it on there for a while. I had some people asking if I was going to continue posting daily and uploading 2 videos a week on YouTube. And for now, I'm not. I'm taking a little break. But that's also because I'm leaving in a few days to teach a workshop in France. I'm going to be away for about 10 days, so I will be a little quieter here. But I will share like clips of that over on Instagram as it's going. And I will also do a little recap video after it's over with just little bits of pieces here. I don't want to like intrude on my attendees or I'm obviously going to respect their privacy, but I will share the places we go in France and I'll talk more about it in that video. So if you're interested in that, make sure you catch that in a couple weeks. But when I return, I am definitely going to jump right back into painting as often as I can. So basically, as long as it's not raining, I'm going to be out painting. One of the biggest benefits of doing plein april is that it becomes a habit, and that's kind of my goal. Is it kicks off my plein air season and it feels normal, and I actually find that I crave my hour outside painting. It's like a stress reliever. It's kind of like it feels like mental therapy for me. It's just amazing in so many ways, and I found that because I planned ahead and because I made it an important part of my day, I didn't feel overly stressed for making it happen. So I feel like now it's going to stay a part of my routine, and I will definitely share plenty of that this summer. Another thing that I really enjoyed this month was painting on bigger paper instead of just in a small sketchbook. Even though I did that now and then, it felt nice to have that extra room to play. So I'm definitely going to continue that, which means taking out my pochade box. I have some 9 by 12 paper, some 11 by 14 paper, and even some 18 by 24 paper that I'm going to maybe attempt one of these times. That'll be interesting because I don't have a large enough easel for my big paper. So I'd probably just like put it on the ground or lean it up against a wall or something. But I'm okay with that because usually when I use bigger paper, I like to tilt it a lot and like let things flow and bleed together. So I think that would be a really fun challenge slash experience, especially if I'm painting waves or anything that requires a lot of loose flowiness. Okay, we are going to take a little break now, and I'm going to give you a full tour of all the paintings I did this month. I always love looking back at an entire month's worth of work like that. I had a few days where I did multiple paintings, multiple sketches, so I always end up with more than 30 pieces. And it's really easy to look at it in retrospect and think, okay, that one wasn't as good as this one. I don't know, like comparing them all. But ultimately, there are so many little lessons in every single one of the pieces you just saw. And next time I go out and do a similar scene to one of those or use the same mediums or colors, like I use that knowledge and take it forward, which is the whole point. And like I said, I'm about to leave for a workshop in France, so I am going to be offline for the next 2 weeks. I will be back with a new video after that, either doing the recap of the France trip or another plein air video. That's what this summer is going to be about. So if you really enjoy painting outside or watching this kind of thing, definitely make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I publish again. I'm sure if you're following me everywhere else, you'll probably know when I post. But yeah, thank you so much. And if you feel like it, let me know what your favorite painting was from this month. And if you watched any of the pleinairpril videos. I'm sure you already commented, but that always is interesting to hear what people are drawn to. Okay, I am going to go edit this video and then I need to get to packing for my trip. So I will see you all in a little while and I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves and each other.